Night in the bowl of day has flung the stone that put the stars to flight, and lo, the haunt of the east has caught a sultan's turret in the news of lights. That was the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam by Edward Fitzgerald, and that was a very classic poem to begin by. My lovely audience all across the world, a very good morning. To my viewers all across the world, my name is Emeka Ozurumba, and this is your Poetic Until Dawn, a weekend show. And today I'm going to be previewing my lovely book for you, Sunflowers. I actually wrote this book last year. It got me a lot of encomiums. I got to take it to schools. I got to read it to libraries. I mean, I was just so happy about it. And today I'm going to be reading some pieces for us from the poem, from the book, actually. It has lots of poems. It has poems like We Die More Than Once, which I did last week. It has poems like Passengers in a Doomed Airbus. But today I'm going to be reading for us a piece which I'd already read previously, which I want to reiterate, called An Unknown Government. This piece talks about a government that is not known by people because it is not stable. Okay. An unknown government is not felt by the people. Government without development is an unknown government. And an unknown government does not exist to the people. Their mandate is gotten from the inflation of election malpractice, a demi-decibel on the toll of such threnody. An unknown government doesn't listen to the mantra for positive change. An unknown government is obscure in all facets of realism. A society thrift in the drift of underdevelopment. There is only anonymity between the budget and poverty alleviation. There is no indices to integrate economic trajectories. A numbskull pixie was regressing as an adder. Venomous poisons are prescribed by an uncaring government that further delves the people in an abyss of mass poverty and mendicantism. Many people sought less from such an asparagus, only flowering in painstaking vouchers of hunger and lack, and become squalorized in shanty gâteaux. For dogs, you can put food on the ground to serve. But to Homo sapiens, rummaging through rubble, seeking leftovers, scavenging through the dumpster's can for a lenient chapati, mixed with urine and trampled on by uncivilized aristocratic kitchens, milling wheat that they felt vanished from their pogrom beans, polyesters and polymorphs of progressions in the negative progressives, suppressive, and grasses in the battlefield of elephants are damp and utterly stumped. An unknown government is concentrated in the business of gimmicks, propaganda, philandrism, a pedigree only in the volatile postmodernized in a Gestapo gridiron without social accountability, without equity in equanimity, without the plosives for progress, strutting to a lost cause of only nomadic laws without decisive restitution, without incisive implosives to see the fortress of truth and legitimate legibility, without cast into a conclave of rot and social apathy in horrendous empathy, in gratuity of the germane, gregariously pivoted soon into the perverse. An unknown government does not walk on a civilian road. It does not represent a legislation that shares equality to all. An unknown government creaks the superficial as a sustainable status quo. They are only dependent on the model of disdain and disparity. But a good government should be an entity of solidarity toward the progress of the people. Government is to hold accountability the development of a society. A good government secures the lives and property of its citizens. A good government establishes a forum for the intervention of peace to corroborate the legacy of truth. And yet they tell people that they are the government. But what is more visible is their stint of oligarchy. And yet they say the government is for the people. But the views of the people are hardly in their logistics. And there comes soon the outbreak of mass and unadulterated poverty. And there comes the avalanche from the crucible of the collapsed society. Yet they feign apathy from this belligerent misuse of power. A good government will create sustainable development for its people, but an unknown government won't. Yes, this piece talks about the difference between a known government and an unknown government. A known government stabilizes what they call democracy for all. But, you know, an unknown government does what they feel is legible to them, which is a misappropriation and misuse of power. And that is not what we want to see in our society. My lovely audience all across the world, I hope you have enjoyed reading me reading from my book, An Unknown Government, from my book, Sunflowers. You can go out there and grab your copies. My lovely audience all across the world, don't go anywhere and stay tuned. We still have a lovely political segment coming up for you on The Weekend Chat.